Hello and welcome everyone to the next video in the Connie Trades course. In this video, we are going to be talking about order flow. Now, order flow, simply put, is the flow of orders, which I know sounds obvious, but let's break down what that actually looks like on the chart, okay? So when we take out a range high or a range low, I then go down to what I call the middle time frame. If you're familiar with ICT, he calls it the intermediate or intermediary time frame. I call it the middle time frame because it's quicker to say. So, for example, if I'm looking at XRP here on the weekly chart, on the weekly time frame, and I see that we've taken out a weekly range high, I want to zoom in to the daily. So if I can identify that we have, pretend that this candle hasn't printed yet, we're still working through this candle, right? We have a weekly inside of a weekly range, inside of a weekly range, and we're kind of working through from this high to this low, it appears. Okay, but what I want to focus in on is here, this weekly high, this weekly low, and you can see how we had 2 weeks of chop, or 2 weeks of candles closing inside of this range. Okay, we come to that range high and we zoom into our middle time frame. Now, before I zoom into the middle time frame, just to give a little bit of context on how the time frames relate to each other, from higher time frame to middle time frame, we have the 12M as our higher time frame, the 3M as our middle, 3M as our higher time frame, monthly as our middle, monthly as our higher time frame, weekly as our middle, weekly as our higher time frame, daily as our middle, daily as our higher time frame, 4 hour and 3 hour as our middle, so on and so forth. Okay, so back to what we were talking about. If I zoom into the daily time frame and I see, right, we have a daily candle, we close above, we take out this high. It's not always a close above. In this instance, it is a close above. And what happens? We reject the high, close back inside. So now this candle, once we close below it, right, that is a shift in order flow for me. And what does that tell me, right? For me, when we take out the range high and the order flow shifts like this, that tells me something super important about bias, right? It gives me information about where price is likely to go next. And if you remember from our ranges video, our draw on liquidity video, we have range high, range low, 50%, and the opposing end become our draw on liquidity. They become our targets, right? So this is where everything starts coming together, right? We can take a range high, out, we sweep it, purge it, however you want, whatever language you want to use. I'd like to say take. We take out a range high, order flow shifts, and now, just like we talked on the draw on liquidity video, right? Just to repeat it again, my eyes go to the 50% of the range and the opposing end of the range high that got taken out. Okay, so this idea is fractal, right? So we took out the weekly high. I can then zoom into the daily. Well, we have a daily candle high, right? We've got fresh liquidity, a fresh range. If I zoom into the 3 hour and the 4 hour, does the order flow shift? Let's take a gander. 4 hour, 3 hour, beautiful. We come up, take out the daily high, close below, order flow shifts, and we see 50% of the daily range and the opposing end of the range. Okay, the daily low. So as I said, this is where we see the sequence really start to shine and come together. The things that we've talked about start working with each other. So after we zoom in, right, and we see this order flow shift, we can keep tracking the sequence as it prints across time frames, right? So we came to our daily high, 3 hour shifts. When we come to the daily low, right, does order flow shift? Yes. Right, and we can continue to fractalize this all the way down. And as we pursue price lower, we're likely going to see the sequence printing along all the way down. We'll see pops above highs. We'll take out a range high. Middle time frame will shift, so on and so forth. We'll have a fractal range to trade somewhere in here, and as we head down all the way to our draws on liquidity, right? The main thing I want you to take away from this video is order flow helps to identify bias, right? It removes the guesswork. Okay, that doesn't mean you won't be wrong. You'll definitely be wrong sometimes. That comes with, it comes with the territory of trading. But this gives us structure, right? It gives us a framework, and for me, that makes a huge difference. Okay, so again, in the next video, we'll continue to bring everything closer and closer as we get to executions eventually. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one.